Hi, it's Jenn Rice, and welcome to Functionally Fit. I am so excited today to be interviewing two guests, which is our first time having two guests on the show, but it couldn't be better timing. And I'm hoping that you get a huge amount of value out of this episode because this is something I know almost zero about, and I think it's really great to learn new things. I'm always open to learning new things. I'm big into anything that we can do that helps with self-care, bettering ourselves. If you don't feel mentally right, you can never be really physically right. And I'm just so excited to have my guest here today. So Shanna Beyah is a fellow healthcare professional, and that's how we met. And then she's brought along her guide or guru or okay,
Teacher.
Amy Ruff, teacher. And I just want to pass it over to them. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Jen, for having me and Amy on the podcast. I can't wait to share my story and then for Amy to share a little bit about the practice of transcendental meditation. So I'll just start with the fact that I turned 40 this year. It was a milestone year for me. Ever since I was probably 38, I started thinking about what I wanted to do for my 40th birthday. But by the time 39 rolled around with the pandemic, I really wanted to focus on my self-care. Because as I was entering into this decade of life, I was really burned out, stressed out. I have two young children, a husband, very busy social life and family life. And I'm a medical practitioner. I work in urgent care. So I've seen a lot of patients during the pandemic. And I was really feeling tired and burned out. So I originally planned a retreat to the Caribbean at this self-care all-inclusive resort right on the beach with all these body work, you get massages and facials included. It was like a dream vacation. And then a volcano erupted on the neighboring island. And very quickly I had to change my plans. But I really feel like it was destiny that brought me to another item on my bucket list, which was an Ayurvedic retreat. So about 7 or 8 years ago, Oprah did a special on Fairfield, Iowa, on Transcendental town, the meditation town. It's very noted for that. And I put in the back of my mind, hey, one day I want to go check that out. Well, because my vacation plans got canceled, I figured this would be a great time. And I didn't know very much about it. I watched the one episode, I did a little bit of research, and then I called the Ayurvedic retreat in Fairfield.
So, Shanna, what is Ayurvedic? What is that for anybody not familiar or just open to learning more? Like, what does that mean? Is that a kind of medicine, and isn't it in India, or what exactly is it?
Yeah, Ayurvedic refers to a system of health and wellness that's been practiced for millennia. It originated in India. And as a healthcare provider, I was surprised to see how accurate it is to a lot of the things that were taught in modern medicine, as far as anatomy, the nervous system, very accurate, but it's ancient. So Ayurveda refers to that system of health and wellness. But specifically, this practice of Ayurveda is called Maharishi Ayurveda that they practice at the resort that I went to, which is called the Raj. It's in Iowa, in the middle of literally nowhere. I had to take 2 planes to get there in a long car ride. So this one focuses on the physical wellness, but also the spiritual and mental wellness is a huge part of this process at the retreat.
When you saw it, learned about it through Oprah. Was she featuring something about it in particular, or was just in the magazine? How did you see that? Or
Yeah, so Oprah, her own series, I think it's her Super Soul series. That one, she went and visited this town to learn about transcendental meditation, actually. And it didn't even feature the retreat, the resort that I stayed at. It was more about the meditation practice and how beneficial it was.
So before we go to Amy and really dig into more about what this kind of meditation even is, how are you feeling? Because I know you and I, we bonded on the phone talking about. We love the work that we do with patients and for patients, but the amount of energy sometimes can be a lot. And how are you feeling before you went, and how did you feel after? And can you share a little bit about what that whole experience was like? Like, what were you feeling a lot of anxiety or depression, or I don't know, just
Absolutely. I was just feeling burnout, just the symptoms of burnout, being at work for 2 hours and feeling like, oh my gosh, it's not the end of the day yet. Not having enough energy to give to my patients, my family, my medical practice, and feeling a little bit unfocused. So that's how I felt going into it. Coming out of it, you know how some people leave their vacations with all these trinkets and souvenirs. I left with the practice of TM, and so since I've been practicing it, I definitely feel like I tap into a source of energy and peace and calmness and high level of focus. So personally for me, although it's not a substitute for sleep, I've required less sleep since I've started practicing TM because I have energy. I have much more energy to give.
and if so you're practicing this now, they've given you gotten the tools to be able to do this yourself.
Yes.
And you've worked this in like nightly, in the morning, throughout the day. How does it work like that?
Well, Jen, you know how crazy our schedules can be. And like I said, I have 2 young kids. So ideally, you should practice 20 minutes twice a day. For me, at work, I get in about 10 minutes on my lunch break. And then I get 20 minutes at night. So total of 30 minutes of meditations has been average for me.
And what does that practice look like? Is it sitting, like, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people listening are familiar with meditation and seeing, but what does the word transcendental mean to this? And maybe this, I don't know if this is where Amy comes in, but just sort of like, what is the difference between just listening to, I don't know, an audio of, like Insight Timer, let's say, an app, and listening to someone go through a meditation versus what this is?
Go ahead, Amy. I'll let you answer that one.
Jump in. I'm also a healthcare provider. I've been a registered nurse since 1973.
Oh,
Faced
wow.
a big burnout in the ICU after about 18 months, ready to leave nursing. Wasn't looking for meditation or self-care back then. We didn't talk about self-care. And happened upon a transcendental meditation course. And I've been doing TM, we'll call it TM, since 1973, twice a day, because it works. And I went on to have a 40-year clinical career, and I've just turned 70. So it's an amazing tool for everyone. It's an amazing tool for healthcare providers, but it is very unique among meditation practices, because I'm sure everybody knows there are lots of techniques out there today. You can go on your phone, you can do a relaxation app, you can learn a different meditation, but TM is unique. And here's why. There are many reasons, but here's why. It's a simple technique, not meaning that it's simplistic or a beginner's meditation, but it has a very elegant simplicity that everyone can learn. Every human being can do TM as well as the next human being. It does not involve concentration or forcing the mind in this way or that. And can I give you an analogy that'll really explain this?
Yes, please.
Okay, so let's say you're out in the middle of the ocean on a small boat and you're enjoying sailing on the ocean, but all of a sudden these huge swells start to come, 40, 60-foot waves. And you think, oh my goodness, this is the ocean. This is it. This is the ocean. But you know that if you take a cross section of the ocean's miles and miles deep. So that analogy is our mind. The boat on the waves, the ever-changing waves, is our active thinking mind. It's where we are all day long. It's our gotta mind. I gotta do this. I gotta call this person. I gotta make a list. I gotta find the list. I gotta slow down. I gotta get up tomorrow. Whatever's on your list. We're caught up there in that part of the mind all day long. Mm-hmm. In transcendental meditation, what we do is we effortlessly go beyond that surface chatter of the mind, and experience the depth of the mind, more subtle states of thought, quieter, peaceful, inner silence, expanded awareness like the depth of the ocean. So in other meditations, everything is good that we do. Other meditations, though, keep us up there on the surface. We're either focusing on the breath, or we're focusing on a phrase, or we're just caught up on that surface level of the ocean, of the mind. We don't give ourselves the freedom to take that inward dive to these more peaceful, quiet states of the mind. And I think intuitively, everybody wants that experience of peacefulness and inner happiness and better intuition. All these areas in the mind that we all possess, but don't know how to get there.
Right.
This is like diving. It's so simple.
Wow. So if someone were to, could they just start this on their own? Do they have to have a guide or a coach, or how does that work?
This is a very ancient technique from classical India. It's over 6,000 years old. This knowledge of how to transcend or go beyond active thought very effortlessly. And so it's taught in a very specific way, and it's been passed down over these thousands of years from teacher to student in an oral tradition. So teachers of Transcendental meditation go through very extensive teacher training programs. Mine was 6 months in residence to learn to be a teacher of TM, to teach it in its most authentic way. So it is a standardized course taught the same way all over the world. This is another thing that makes TM unique. Tons of research on the Transcendental meditation technique taught in a unified, standardized way. So the course is 4 consecutive days of about 90 minutes each day. And you're taught by a certified teacher of TM who's gone through teacher training.
Yeah. And Jenn, just as a student, I'll just talk to that. I think that someone could attempt to do it on their own. I mean, literally, it's simple. It's simple, like Amy said, it's a simplest, elegant technique. But the reality is having a teacher there just to guide you, just to say, hey, so what happens if my cat jumps on my lap while I'm meditating, or to give you the practicalities of applying it, I think is just incredible to have a teacher there to guide you through that part, and also just to guide you on to how to get deeper and to be gentle with yourself in this meditation. Yeah.
It's very important to be trained by a certified teacher of TM. The other thing that makes it unique, and I haven't even talked about the research yet, but is that once you take the TM course, you have the availability of lifetime follow-up and support for your practice. So wherever you may move, you can always connect with a certified teacher and sit down and go through your meditation practice with her or him. And that makes it unique. You know, it's not like you're joining a spa and your membership is up and, you know.
50 minutes, you're out. So yes, Amy, please share with us, because I know for sure there are people listening who are very evidence-based medicine. They want to know, are there studies? What are things really showing? Who is this really helping? Where does the rubber meet the road with this?
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the things that makes Transcendental meditation very unique, is that it has been very carefully looked at by science. Since the early 70s, studies have been going on. So now there are over 420 peer-reviewed studies done by independent research institutions, Harvard, MIT, Stanford, UCLA, published in leading journals all over the world. So looking at the effects on the mind and the body, which we know are one, looking at what happens in the brain during Transcendental meditation, which is very unique. Everything we do affects, you know, every experience that we have affects our brain, and every meditation, category of meditation, focused meditation, more open monitoring like mindfulness, or automatic self-transcending, which is Transcendental meditation, they all have a unique EEG pattern. And the EEG pattern in Transcendental meditation is unique. It's a unique alpha signature. And what they find, I'll just tell you about the brain quickly, is that during TM practice, two things of note really in the brain. One, what they see on EEG is that the brain waves become very coherent. They line up. You know, when we're in activity, our brain waves are all over the place because of our list of things that we have to do. We're multitasking, we're all over the place. During TM, the mind settles down, the brain waves become very orderly. Parts of the brain start to communicate with itself, they find on EEG. The other thing is that I find so fascinating is that the prefrontal cortex of the brain, which we know is so important, is like the CEO of the brain, where our decision making, our moral judgment, our creative intelligence all happens there in the CEO of the brain, prefrontal. When we're stressed, when we're under stress, it's almost, they find on MRI, it's almost as though the prefrontal cortex goes offline. The blood flow is decreased under stress. During transcendental meditation, when we get this very deep rest, stresses are released, the prefrontal cortex comes online again.
Wow.
And that's why we say, you know, we don't meditate just for the sake of the experience in the meditation. We're really meditating for the benefit out in the day. More clear thinking, better health, more happiness, improvements in all areas of health, huge research. Do you want me to mention a couple?
Yes, love
Okay.
to. Yes, because you know, I was thinking while you were talking too, and then yeah, I'd love to hear this other research is, you know, I often think about meditation as a, you know, quote unquote rescue for, you know, anxious people like me or whatever. But then as you're talking, I'm thinking about this whole other group of people that are, like a lot of the age group that I serve here in Naples, Florida. Many of my patients are between 75, 85 years old. They're you know, very vibrant, very active people. But I just wonder if something like this, because you start talking about blood flow to the brain, and as people are really combating this cognitive decline, which seems to be happening more and more and more in this age group, almost too quickly without any familial history or genetics either, which there are multifactorial reasons, as you know, for that. But you wonder if something like this could be part of a treatment plan.
P10 3101, P10 3101.
Absolutely.
At work.
Okay.
Everyone can learn and practice TM. We teach children from the age of 5 up until, you know, whatever age. Absolutely. Good benefits for the mind, good benefits for the body. So I'll just mention a couple of physiological research studies. When the mind settles down with that ocean analogy that I gave, naturally the body settles down as well, and we get
P10 3101.
I am so sorry.
Okay.
You're at work.
Yeah.
Shanna is on a.
I am on the job.
Yeah, she's on an Indian reservation in Montana while we're on this podcast, and you're helping their community health services.
Yeah.
And we just so appreciate them allowing you to hop on here. Yeah. But yeah, we understand that you have to be able to listen to what's happening there.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead, Amy.
Okay, so mind settles down, body follows and settles down and gains a state of very deep rest, which allows us to throw off stress and fatigue. One study that I find so fascinating out of Harvard was looking at oxygen consumption, metabolic rate oxygen consumption with PM rest compared to sleep. And it found that during sleep, oxygen consumption goes down 8% over a 6-hour period. In 20 minutes of transcendental meditation, oxygen consumption decreases 16% over 20 minutes.
Wow.
So that's the state of rest that we get when we sit and meditate for 20 minutes. And that allows us to throw off stress and fatigue. But of all these peer-reviewed studies, I'll just mention a couple that I think are so relevant in our world today. One is on anxiety. There's a meta-analysis of 146 studies on anxiety.
Wow.
That compared, that compared the transcendental meditation technique to other meditation practices, progressive muscle relaxation, biofeedback, mantra meditation, mindfulness. And the TM technique was found to be over twice as effective in reducing anxiety as other techniques. And it happens right away. We hear that from people right away.
That's kind of
studies-
exciting because I do a lot of that progressive, what they call them body scans, right? And progressive, I do a lot of that, but it's amazing to think I could get twice, 2 times the benefits.
Over twice as effective. Many studies on depression, because anxiety and depression seem to go together, showing that TM reduces anxiety. Many cardiovascular studies. I'll just mention one, a randomized controlled trial over a 5-year period that randomized the groups to either health education, lifestyle modification, or just learning transcendental meditation. The TM group over a 5-year period, these were known cardiac people with a known diagnosis. Over a 5-year period, the TM group had a 48% lower heart attack, stroke, and all-cause mortality than the lifestyle modification group. This was published in the American Heart Association's journal circulation.
Wow.
Yeah, so I could go on all areas of life where this good research has been done on the brain, on the body, and relationships. We have a very good website, if I can mention that has research citations. Is it okay for me to mention that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Please do. Yes.
Right. It's www.tm-women.org, and there's a research section in there.
That's fantastic. It's I think one thing that someone listening may also be wondering is if for whatever reason they can't get away like Shanna did, and could, just life is in the way, or it's a travel thing, or it's a whatever financial budget, who knows, how would they begin to find or use, are you nationwide? Like, how does it work if they wanted to? Obviously we can put in the show notes information about the retreat, but if for any reason that's just not something someone can swing, are there other opportunities for them?
Absolutely. We have over 600 certified teachers across the US. And so the best way to do it would be to go on the website, tm-women.org, and there's a contact us tab. And we will get in touch with you and let you know where the closest certified teacher is who's teaching, and then go from there.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Jen, actually, when I got back from the retreat, I had my 5-year-old daughter learn TM because I was so excited about it. She's a gifted student, so I already start to see some anxiety in her for her school performance. I said, no, we're going to nip this in the bud. And so she's already learned how to do TM for children from a local instructor that was in my area.
Okay, so you didn't you didn't teach her yourself. You had someone else do it because okay.
Yeah, and the program for children is different. Her class was only 2 days. It was 60 minutes over 2 days, and kids are active, so they're practicing for less time than an adult. Hers is just 5 minutes.
What did your class look like as far, I know you did a retreat, but as far as being able to do things on your own, how long did that take you?
Yeah, so I was just very fortunate that I learned TM at the same time I was going for the Panchakarma retreat, which are two different things. I mean, they're both based in Ayurveda somewhat, but I was receiving treatments for my body and health, like massage and oil therapy. And as part of the offerings there, they had a local TM teacher come in and sit with me for the 90 minutes over 4 days that I was there. So I just got the bonus benefit of getting the Ayurvedic treatments and learning TM at the same time, which is, I guess, I think I'm just feel very special that I got to experience both.
That's amazing. So the retreat you went to was the Panchakarma retreat, and this is in Iowa?
Yes, I believe there's 2 in the United States. There might be a few more, but this one is specific. It's a Maharishi Ayurvedic Panchakarma retreat. And even in India, they do retreats like this as well. But this one was in Fairfield, Iowa. It's at the Raj. And I was a guest there, very intimate setting, lovely people. And Jenn, the treatments, I'm still dreaming about them because I felt like a baby. I was so well taken care of. I know it was for my health and wellness, but I just felt so pampered. Yeah.
I love that, because there's probably some people listening that may want to reach out to you and see exactly what was going on there. But we can also, we'll put in the show notes the name and so you saw this on, just to kind of bring us full circle. So you saw this originally on Oprah, but it wasn't necessarily all about the transcendental meditation. That just happened to be something that you were so fortunate to stumble upon. And now it's something that you've got your daughter into, you're doing daily, you're feeling, I mean, you're obviously practicing and feeling great, because there you are in Montana serving a whole other group of people on the road, right?
Yes.
Where do you live normally?
I live in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Jen, I just wanted to say one thing about scheduling people. We do huge projects in hospitals and nursing schools and medical facilities. I'm the national director of TM for nurses. And believe me when I tell you that nurses are the hardest people to schedule for anything, as you can well imagine, especially now.
Yes.
But the teachers of TM who are teaching these courses around the country, they're extremely flexible. It does have to be 4 consecutive days of 90 minutes each day, but we work with every person that can make it doable. We will go to their place of work. We teach in the hospitals, so it's very flexible in that way, but 4 consecutive days.
Oh, that's fantastic. Do you teach then also groups of, just groups of people in general with, maybe cancer diagnosis or?
Yes, we've reached out to different groups. There are a lot of programs with veterans, veterans coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan. Department of Defense has given millions of dollars for TM research with veterans. So people can learn individually, as Shanna did on her retreat, or in groups. It just depends on how the course is structured for that particular week. We teach nurses in groups of 5, 10, 15 at a time for the follow-up meetings. I should say the first day of instruction is one-on-one with a certified teacher. That's where you actually learn to do TM. You start meditating right away. But the next 3 days are with the group of everyone who learned, which is very nice. You hear each other's experiences, and it's a very nice course.
Oh, that's fantastic. So Amy, do you practice the 20 minutes twice a day, or is yours different because you've done it so long? Do you even think about it and you're doing it all day long? You're doing it right now and during the podcast.
I have practiced Transcendental meditation since 1973. September will be 48 years that I've been doing TM every day. And you can fit it in because you can do it anywhere that you can sit and close your eyes. There's no special posture. It's very natural. It's just very simple and natural. So nurses, for example, will sometimes sit in their car, before they commute home from work after their shift in the parking garage and meditate, or they'll go down to the chapel and meditate. Or I'm sure, Shanna, you found
I've done it on the airplane. Yeah.
Because you're just sitting with your eyes closed. It's completely natural and simple and wonderful.
Yeah, and one of the things I appreciate about it is not that I'm checked out. Like I still have an awareness of what's going on around me, even though I'm meditating. I'm not like in some totally zenned out place where there could be a crisis and I wouldn't know. No, I'm still kind of checked into what's going on around me. I'm still very aware, but I'm also in just this deep state of relaxation.
Have you used it? Have you had anything done that was like, I don't know, painful, or, have you used it to cope with pain, or do people use it like before procedures, during procedures, these kind of things?
It's generally not used in that way.
Okay.
It's really the regular practice morning and evening, 20 minutes morning and evening, that brings the fastest benefits in our daily life. It's not, a Band-Aid for an anxiety, or, a Band-Aid for a procedure like that. Over time with regular practice, all these benefits of more clarity, more focus, more energy that Shanna mentioned, more inner fulfillment, relief from hypertension, quitting smoking, alcohol abuse, so many studies, these benefits accrue with regular practice over time.
Oh, that's fantastic. So if someone wanted to learn more, the website you mentioned was, can you say the website one more time? And then we'll also put it in the show notes.
Sure. www.tm-women.org. I can give you my email address as well. I'm the education director for TM for Women.
Yeah,
It's
great.
It's education director at tm-women.org.
So just to, if I'm a man listening to this, can I
Yes, you
follow
can
that
contact
link?
us.
I can
Yes.
follow that link. Okay. I do. There may be that question like, well, wait a minute. Did they just totally single us out? No. But it's just at the website, they can still find a practitioner if a man's listening to this and he wants to find someone locally.
Yes.
It's not exclusive to women. It just happens to.
We're under the umbrella of the TM for Women organization. We're one organization, in the US, but our charge, our joy is to do outreaches to women, which is why the nurses outreach and other outreaches to women are under this umbrella. But we will certainly help the men to find a teacher as well.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
So when my
great.
husband learns, Jen will have him back on so you can get his
I know, I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna they'll be like,
trying.
wait a minute, what should you do there? I was so excited to do this. And they say, no men allowed, no.
Yeah, no. Slowly but surely, I'm getting him on board. He's seen the benefits in me. I'm a lot more patient with him, a lot more patient with my kids. So he's slowly but surely, if he's listening, waiting for you.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you both so much for being here. I so appreciate it. And thanks so much.
Thank you for having me,
Jen. Thank you.
Jen.